Oh, we can wait a beat, or we could start.
Well, he's going to start with wins, right?
We do normally start with wins. Anybody?
I got 21 offers on my listing yesterday.
Oh, golly. Okay. Well,
I don't know if that's a win or not, but
good excuse for circle prospecting. Show up with those other offers to doors, right? Hey.
yeah, it's a win. It's a win for my client, not a win for my attention span last night.
Yeesh. Well, and I don't know if you use Command, but there is a handy tool in Command for comparing offers. I would highly recommend it to folks.
Yeah, I have a Google spreadsheet that I use. I've always used, but I've seen that thing on Command. It is pretty nice.
Yeah, it looks pretty slick. Okay, Dan is going to the tropics or something today.
They say dress for the job you want. I am retired.
Well, no one is going to miss you in that shirt for sure.
Dan wants a job as a carnival dancer, apparently.
If you saw the way that these hips moved, know that in a past life I am a carnival dancer.
Jim shared that he got 21 offers on his listing yesterday.
Yeah, he showed me his spreadsheet of some of them. Did the other two offers come in last night?
Yeah, 640 was the winner. Everything removed.
There you go. Making it easy. All right. It is a Tuesday. It's also the spookiest day of the year. And that's the day you realize you didn't lead generate enough yesterday. But we're going to change all that today because we're going to talk about all the great things you did yesterday. Yesterday, I harped on you and I beat on you and I yelled at you because I wanted you to be able to find things to be proud of. So be bold, be brazen, be on camera, and share your wins from yesterday.
Yesterday, I got a letter to myself that I took bold last year, and I wrote a letter to myself about my goals and things I've overcome, like a letter to my future self. And I was surprised at what I wrote, and I overcame most of it, and I'm on my way to the rest. So I surprised myself that I accomplished most of what I set out to do.
Way to go.
Thank you.
Well, what else we got?
Fun.
I also lead generated. I was trying to hit 20, but I got 15, but close enough.
I was able to get the boldness to visit 4 of my friends and give them my cards, ask them to help me out if they know of anybody. And I passed out my cards again to my farm area. That's what I was able to do yesterday, and a little bit more than normal for me.
That's awesome. I love it. Anyone else care to share?
I can share.
Let's hear it.
Yesterday, I've been in a kind of difficult escrow with one of my clients. He's a little emotional and a little nervous, and it's just kind of like somersaulted into something. But yesterday was a good win in terms of tying up the loose ends, filing the date of escrow, just getting communication done, even though everybody's exhausted from the deal. So that was something.
Hey, that's awesome. That's a win. You know what a huge win for all of you is? And I'm getting closer so you can hear me. Is that you didn't have to be told 3 times to share. You were all excited to do so. And for that, I'm freaking proud of you. You guys didn't know.
Because Mara got it started.
Hell yeah. Great job, Mara. I'm glad I was 13 seconds late to the call. I think it's because you guys are finally understanding the power of sharing positive things in the morning will get your mindset going.
Yes, sir.
What is the most important thing you need to do every day to help secure business for yourself?
Lead gen.
Oh, shit. That's easy. Tell me more.
I know the answer. I'm not telling you more. I'll let somebody else jump in.
I love it how everyone else just went dark. Just black screens. They're all, I shared my wins. Now I don't have to talk anymore.
You say what's the most important part about lead gen?
What's the most important part about your business that you need to be doing?
Oh, that I need to be doing definitely lead generating and just meeting more new people every day.
Okay. Lead generating, meeting more people. Okay, that's 2 people for lead generation. One more time. What is the most important thing you should be doing for your business every day?
Follow up.
There you go. Lexi's hit it with a follow-up.
Mm.
What good is lead generation without follow-up? That's true. So today,
Going up.
I want to ask you a very important question. What is holding you back?
Fear.
Fear. All right. So we're gonna write these down, right? I'm taking notes, got my pen and paper. If you don't have pen and paper because you're driving, that's okay. Don't wreck. Your insurance rates are high enough. However, those of you at home, take along, write down notes. Fear. What else is holding you back?
I mean, I feel like fear falls under that, limiting your own self, like you thinking you can't do it, therefore you're not trying. I don't know if that's considered still fear, but
Would that be okay if I put that under limiting beliefs?
sure.
Okay. So fear, limiting beliefs. What else?
For me, I let myself be distracted. So I need to protect my space to not talk myself out of it or let people come in and distract me.
Distraction. Okay. I like that. Can I put that under focus?
Yes.
Okay. Focus, distractions. Jacob put in the chat that he doesn't have enough time in the day. Okay. Time. What else? 3, 2, 1. Is that it?
Well, the planning, sometimes if I don't have a plan, I again make an excuse like what to say during that follow-up call.
Planning. Okay. Planning. I like to hear from you guys because we all have different fears. The last Ignite class we had, Stephanie Polston pulled down a whole bunch of sticky notes on the wall of people's fears about lead generation and fears about business. And they do fall into the 5 average categories, which is your fear of things, limiting beliefs, focus, time management, and structure, models and systems. So why do we have fear?
Fear of rejection.
What was that, Tyler?
Fear of rejection.
That's a big one. Fear of rejection. Show of hands. Is fear of rejection something that's crossed your mind whilst lead generating or that's kept you from lead generating? Right? We all can raise our hands and saying at one point in our lives, we have thought about the potentiality of the conversation going negative, so we didn't do it. Can we overcome that fear of rejection? I need everyone to go up and down with your heads for me. Okay. This is a non-verbal way of saying what 3-letter word?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for participating. We can absolutely overcome the fear of rejection. And how do we do so?
Well, the way I have started to do it is mindset. I am obviously not perfect, and my boss but consciously making an effort. For me, it was open houses. Consciously making an effort to change your mindset and the way that you speak to people and the conversations that you can have really helped in the few open houses that I have done where I made an effort on my way to the open house to change my mindset from I'm afraid people don't want to talk to me. I'm afraid people are just going to look at the house and tell me what they think I want to hear, to being more open and asking different questions and restructuring my own thought process to stop myself from that imminent fear that's going to shut me down.
There you go. I heard a couple things in there that I really like. Anyone catch how the fear of rejection actually is being born or flowered from a limiting belief? Because I don't know what to say. They don't want to hear from me. They don't want to talk to me. These limiting beliefs challenge us in a way that keep us from moving forward. Another way we can handle fear of rejection is by practicing different types of rejections. Let me give you a scenario. You're in high school. That boy or girl that you were crushing on, you asked out to the dance and they said no. What'd you do? Did your whole world end?
Done.
Pretty much.
Everything gone. Life over as you know it. Or can we look back on the past? And for some of us, it might have been last week, Jacob. And for the rest of us, it might have been 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. But we could look back at these failures, these rejections that in the moment were soul crushing. They just destroyed our emotions. They took a breath away. Nothing else matters. I'm going to go listen to a bunch of Green Day songs and cry into my pillow. But when we look back on them, they really weren't that bad. We made them worse. So one of the fears of rejections you can get over by remembering that you've been rejected before and you're fine. You will be rejected again, and let me assure you, you will also be fine. Now, everyone take your hand out. Make an open hand like a turkey. And then place the thumb to the center of your chest. That is the sign language for fine. And if you wiggle a little bit, it's the sign language for fine. When you're having a rough time, just tap yourself. Take your hand and tap yourself. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. No matter what the situation is, you'll be fine. I'll be fine. Look back at what you've done and give that experience moving forward. Next thing to practice is, can we practice mock situations that might help us navigate a rough conversation? Yes. So you telling me if I practice being rejected, I'll get better at it? My buddy, I know I use real names a lot and I probably shouldn't to protect their, whatever you call it, privacy, but I don't care. It's Brian. This man he's married now with kids, which is fantastic. But back when we were in our heyday of going to the bars, this man got rejected no less than 100 times a night. But he would always ask one more time, one more opportunity, one more dance, one more phone number, one more, hey, you're pretty, you want to be my girlfriend. Brian was not a smart man. He was a genius because he didn't let the common fear of rejection slow him down. He knew if I asked enough, I'd get what I wanted. I would find a way. Even if it was, hey, Dan, let's go to the bar. No. Hey, Dan, let's go to the bar. No. And 99 other times, and he'd show up at my house and say, hey, we're going to the bar. And I'd say no, and he would drag me out of the house. Not that I want you to drag your clients into anything, but I want you to realize that even if you get 99 no's, you should still ask for one more time. The Power of One More is a fantastic book written by Ed Milet. I've talked about it on this call before. It goes into showcase the power of one more person to talk to, one more question to ask, one more opportunity to explore. Regardless of how scared you are, take one more step. Push yourself to be comfortable in fear. Because if we're working with buyers and sellers, do they want an agent that is fearful, confident, or timid? They want someone that's doing all right. Just calm, center yourself. No matter what situation we are going to encounter, we're going to be fine. I'm there for you. We'll figure it out together. Any people on the call, parents, right? My parents, when you first had your first kid, how terrified were you? What was your number one fear?
I didn't know anything. That was my fear. I've never been around kids.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to screw this up. Right? Anyone else share the same fears being a first-time parent? How did you learn?
He didn't have a choice.
Can we not apply that same energy to real estate? I've never done an open house. I've never door knocked. I've never been on a listing presentation. I've never worked with an investor. I've never sold $1 million house. I've never sold a commercial property. I haven't done insert the blank. But what else in your life have you never done before that you have found success in by just doing it? I assure you, if you don't have kids yet, that first one scares the shit out of you. And when you get to Audra's level, you're a professional. You guys didn't know she's got like 54 kids or 512. I don't know. She's got 7. She's got me beat. I only have 5. But that fear is a deep-rooted fear of failure because now you're not only failing you, you're failing them. Or maybe the partner involved. But you did it anyways because you couldn't. You couldn't not. So do we have that same level of responsibility to our clients and to our goals? We may not know what we're doing, but do it anyways. Figure it out. Move forward. Make the phone call. Do the follow-up. The limiting beliefs that stick in our head are going to keep you from moving forward through fear. And we do so by practice, intentionality, taking deep breaths, calming ourselves down, reminding ourselves that we are, in fact, going to be fine. Next, we move into focus. If we can focus on something, do you think fear and limiting belief kind of go away? How many times in your day are you distracted? How many times a day does the plan go off the rails? How often do the dishes not get done? The laundry doesn't get sorted. The cat doesn't get fed. The dog poops on the floor. The kids leave their socks somewhere. How many times in your life does something happen? Every single day. But do those little occurrences derail your entire day? Not usually. We either make a mental note to take care of it later, or we just take care of it right in the moment and get back to what we were doing. But as a real estate professional, your focus is protecting your golden hours, the time that you spend lead generating. We've already identified the most important thing you need to do every day is what?
Lead generate.
Lead generate. And if we're not lead generating, what are you doing? There's an adage I was given many years ago is if you're a new agent, an old agent, an agent that's been in this business forever, if you don't actively have a client in your car, a listing you're servicing, there's no reason you're not lead generating 8 hours a day. Finding opportunities 8 hours a day. We all used to work for someone, and some of us still do work for somebody that we have to clock in and clock out. I remember one of those jobs where I had to put my cell phone in a locker and lock it and go to work. And then 2 hours later, I was able to take a break. And then 2 hours later, I was able to take a lunch. And then 2 hours later, maybe I got a break if they remembered me. Most of the time, they didn't. And then by the end of the day, I was so excited to get my phone, put away my apron, and go home. But for that 8 hours, who did I belong to?
The store.
It's a big blue store with a giant sign. It rhymes with flows, and I worked for them for a long time. But I'll tell you, for 8 hours, I was a company man. I didn't care what was going on in my life. The bullshit I had at home did not follow me into the store. It couldn't. Cell phones put away. But if I was able to work in that environment where I was captive to a place, usually a cash register. If you guys know me and imagine me at 19 years old, how much energy I had then. Standing still was not my forte. I could do that for 8 hours. But now I'm working for myself, and I don't force myself to do the same type of things. So who are you really working for? Focus comes from discipline. When we focus, we're able to get things done. And if the number one most important thing in our life is not completed, then why are we doing anything else? I give you 4 letters and tell you why. It's FOMO. What do they stand up for? Anyone know?
Fear of missing out.
The fear of missing out. FOMO. Ooh, I want to hear this conversation. Ooh, I want to watch that video. Ooh, I want to check social media. Ooh, I want to walk around. Ooh, I want to go to lunch. Ooh, I want to do this. It sounds more fun. I don't want to miss out. Well, let me tell you how much you're going to miss out if you don't take time to sit down, and we're gonna answer another problem now, and plan your friggin' day. Between this time and this time, I am doing nothing but lead generation. I'm calling people, I'm texting people, I'm social media messaging people, I'm going door knocking, I'm doing an open house, I'm handing out business cards. Any number of things fall into the realm of lead generation, but that's all you're doing. Look at Jake's calendar. Jacob, go ahead and put it up again and then say something so your image pops up.
Plan out my every Sunday night. You taught me that. Plan out the
Every
week.
Sunday night. Plan out your freaking week. You guys can tell I got a little bit of a cough. I did not want to come into work today. But I already have a plan that requires my execution. I have to be here. Sleep, fever, cough, or otherwise. I have shit to do. And because I work for myself, no one else is going to do it. But once it's done, I'm going to go home and die again. I'm going to lay down. But if you don't have a plan, you have nothing to follow. If you showed up to your JOB, which is an acronym for just over broke, and you didn't do anything for 8 hours, how long would you have that JOB? I've known people that skate by at JOBs their entire life, not really accomplishing anything because they skate right under the radar. They do just enough to get by. Well, that's fine. If you want to be the type of person that just does just enough to get by, then get off my call. Get out of my company. Because if we are around people that want to run like us, we'll probably run faster. If we're around people that have more focus, a better plan, also known as the systems and models. Have you ever heard this book, right? It's filled with great systems and models that we're able to execute at a higher level. We probably will be able to solve a lot of these things we're talking about. And that's, I don't have time. I'm not focused because I don't have a plan. if I was standing behind you and Gary Keller and I were leaning on your shoulders, expecting you to make 100 phone calls, and we weren't going to leave your side until you did, how many phone calls would you accomplish that day?
Probably 100.
Probably 100. I hear probably. What if Gary Keller had a shotgun?
Okay, at least 100.
At least. Now we're definitely going to hit 100. But you work for you guys. Fear and limiting belief are only doors that you have to get past. And they're easy to run past when you have a plan that pushes you through them. Today's a spooky day. There's a lot of haunted houses out there. But most of the haunted houses I've ever been at, you have a starting point and an end point. If anyone's excited about haunted houses, you love what happens in between. And usually the date you brought hates them and is just excited about the ending. Nervous as hell to get through the door, but then you're like, no, it'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. I got you. Let's go enjoy the middle part. Just like I told you guys, you'll be fine. Because you have me, you have Mara, you have Jim, you have Jacob, you have Giovanni, you have all the people on this call that you can lean in on too and say, hey, I'm really struggling with this type of conversation. And then you know what? I've been through that before. You'll be fine. Let me give you some insight. Give you a little bit of go-go juice on your boots. And then any limiting belief you have, here's my challenge to you. Write it down. If you think to yourself, I'm too fat, I'm too short, I'm too ugly, I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm too anything to be a successful career, or I don't feel like people listen to me, or I don't know what I'm doing, or anything that starts with a belief in yourself that is negative, also known as a negative belief, a limiting belief, write that down. And then with a giant pen, cross it off, and right underneath it or to the side of it, write a powerful, positive alternative. And what do I mean by that, Mara? I'm no good at this. What's a powerful, positive alternative?
I'm great at this. I can do this.
That was easy. Matthew, people don't want to hear from me. What's a powerful, positive alternative? First, you got to unmute yourself. But I want the limiting belief here. What's a powerful, positive alternative to, they don't want to hear from me.
Powerful, positive alternative. I feel like maybe it's just like my own thought. Like maybe I think to myself, they don't want to hear from me or something like that. Like maybe that's just me psyching myself out.
That's exactly what it is, Matthew, is if you're psyching yourself out, it's a limiting belief. But if you have those limiting beliefs, write that shit down. Write down. Yeah. They don't want to talk to me. Cross it off. Be aggressive. If you rip the paper, even better. And right next to it, they do want to hear from me. I have valuable things to say. I provide valuable information to the people in my life. You start with those two things, and it's understanding that fear is up here. You'll be fine. And secondly, limiting beliefs can be crushed by identifying them and moving forward. And like Jake showed, have a plan. Spend Sunday night sitting down and going over your week. This is what I'm going to do. Because consistent effort over time will get you more results than just sporadic energy. If you do what you're supposed to do long enough, when you're supposed to do it, how you're supposed to do it, success will come. It is not an if, it is a when. You guys want to make more money? Should see a bunch of head nods, then do more of the things you're supposed to do. Any thoughts, comments, questions, concerns before we kick you out of here and you guys can have a spooky Halloween? If you need help rewriting your limiting beliefs, text me, call me, or come see me in the office. Do not let that slow you down. Because tomorrow, we got some objections to handle and some more mindset to tackle. Happy Halloween, my friends. Trick or treat. Smell my feet. High five.